Today in economics class, we are going to look at theory of demand. In theory of demand, we shall be looking at the definition, factors affecting demand. What do you mean by demand schedule and demand curve? What about change in quantity demanded and change in demand? We are going to look at all these concepts one after the other. Theory of demand. Demand is the quantity of the goods and services which a consumer is willing and ready to purchase at a particular price in a given period of time. When we are talking about demand in economics is trying to let us understand that the willingness and readiness to buy a commodity at a particular price in a given period indicate the quantity that you want to buy. That if you are not willing and you are not ready to buy something, demand will not occur. So for demand to occur, there is willingness and readiness to purchase such commodity at a particular price in a given period of time. So demand has to do with willingness and readiness and the period that you are intending to get the commodity. Demand, that is, it can be effective demand or ineffective demand. What we are trying to understand here is that many people desire to have a commodity, but ability to back it up with price will let us understand if the demand is effective or ineffective. That is, when we say effective demand, we are talking about a demand which implies ability of a consumer to be able to back up the goods or services with price. That immediately you are told the price of the commodity. If you can back up with price, definitely you are willing and ready to buy the commodity at that moment. But a situation where you are willing and ready to have it, but inability to back up with price occur at that moment, your demand will become another thing that we call ineffective demand. That is, ineffective demand indicates that the consumer fails to back up with price but willing to buy the good. Here, demand becomes mere demand. So, ability to back up with price make it to do effective demand. So that is the time we understand that truly purchases have occurred. But inability to back it up with price indicates there is no purchase. So there is no even demand. But the demand is just mere demand. You desire to have it, but you are not willing to pay the price at that moment. Demand schedule. This is a table which shows the different quantities of a commodity which will be bought at various prices at a particular time. Take for instance, demand schedule for milk. Price per tin using naira, quantity demanded of, that is, number of tin per week. When the price is 2 naira 50 kobo per tin, quantity demanded read 20. When the price is 2 naira per tin, quantity demanded shows 25. When the price is 150, 1 naira 50 kobo, we have the quantity demanded to be 30. When the price is 1 naira, we have the quantity demanded to be 35. When the price is 50 kobo, we have the quantity demanded to be 40 naira. If you critically look at the table, we will observe that as the price is reducing from 2 naira 50 kobo down to 50 kobo, we have the quantity demanded of tin milk to be increasing from 20 to 25, 30 to 40 from the table. It implies that consumers will want to buy commodities. When the price is falling, more of such commodity will be demanded. If the price of the commodity is increasing, less of such commodity will be demanded. So demand schedule tries to tell us the relationship between quantity demanded and the price of the commodity in question. So the lower the price, the higher the quantity demanded, and the higher the price, the lower the quantity demanded. Demand curve. This is a graph which shows the different quantity of a commodity which will be bought at various prices at a particular time. The demand curve happens to be the translation of schedule into curve. From the previous table where we demonstrated demand schedule, we try to use the table and translate the table into curve. That is before us here. That when the price is 2 naira 50 kobo, quantity demanded is 20. If you check the table, this is what we are going to discover. From 2 naira 50 kobo to 2 naira to 150 and so on and so forth. You observe that as the price is coming down, quantity demanded is increasing, which shows that there is a negative relationship between price of the commodity and quantity demanded. So we have demand curve to be downward sloping. Let me repeat. In demand curve, we observe that the relationship between price of the commodity milk and quantity demanded of the commodity milk happen to be inverse, opposite. That as the price is reducing, quantity demanded is increasing. But if the price is increasing, quantity demanded will be reducing because the commodity is a normal good, showing that the demand curve is downward sloping. Factors affecting demand. Number 1, price of the commodity. There is an inverse relationship between the price of the commodity and quantity demanded. The lower the price of the commodity, the higher the quantity demanded, and vice versa. Number 2, prices of other commodities. These other commodities can be substitute goods or complementary goods. Where it is substitute good, a situation where there is an increase in price of substitute good, there will be an increase in demand of such commodity. Take for instance, BlackBerry phone and a Nokia phone. If there is an increase in the price of Nokia phone, the demand for BlackBerry phone will increase. But for complementary goods, where 2 or more commodities are joined together to give a satisfaction. Take for instance, bread and butter. The 2 will give a satisfaction. Or mattress and pillow. The 2 will give a satisfaction. If there is an increase in one, it will affect the demand of the other. Or if there is a decrease in price of one, it will affect the demand of the other one. That is, if there is an increase in the price of bread, the demand for butter will decrease, holding other things constant here. So that's why I said price of other commodity will influence demand. Number 3, income of the consumer. As the income of the consumer is increasing, consumers will be willing to buy more of a particular commodity. But if there is a decrease in their income, less of commodities will be bought. So it implies that there is a direct relationship between income of the consumer and demand of the consumer. Number 4, advertisement. If an enterprise is able to have an effective advertisement, it will boost their sales. That is, creation of awareness in the society or in the market. By creating awareness, you are calling people to be buying your product. As they are demanding for your product, the demand of your goods will increase. So with effective advertisement, demand will increase. But where there is no effective advertisement, the demand of such commodity will reduce. So here, there is a direct relationship between advertisement and demand. The more effective advertisement is, the more demand will increase. Number 5, taxation. Taxation is into two forms: direct tax and indirect tax. Direct tax is placed on individual income, corporate taxes, and so on, while indirect tax is placed on goods and services. If there's an increase in indirect tax, it will reduce the consumer's income. Thereby, there will be a reduction in the demand of goods and services. But if there's a decrease in direct tax, consumer will have more to take home as an income. So more goods and services will be bought. But on the side of indirect tax, if there's an increase in indirect tax, the implication is that the prices of goods and services will increase. This will reduce the number of goods and services that consumer will purchase. But a decrease in indirect tax will ensure a decrease in prices of goods and services that will lead to increase in purchases of goods and services. So taxation has an influence on demand. Number 6, population size. The larger the population, the more the demand of the commodity will increase. But the more the population is decreasing, then the demand for commodity will reduce. So the implication is that there is a direct relationship between population size and demand. Having explained factors affecting demand, these factors can be grouped into two, irrespective of their number. 1, change in quantity demanded, and 2, change in demand. What do you mean by change in quantity demanded? Change in quantity demanded implies that there is a movement along demand curve. We've analyzed demand curve, and we explained that demand curve is downward sloping. Why is it downward sloping? Because as the price is falling, quantity demanded is increasing, or as the price is increasing, quantity demanded is falling. Where the price of the commodity influences quantity demanded, while other factors affecting demand are constant. So, change in quantity demanded is trying to let us understand that price of the commodity is the only one that can affect quantity demanded. Other factors are constant. Factor like income of the consumer, factor like price of other commodity, factor like taxation, factor like population size, and so on and so forth. All these are constant, but in change in quantity demanded, it is only the price of the commodity in question that is affecting it. Change in quantity demanded is into two types, namely 1, increase in quantity demanded, 2, decrease in quantity demanded. These two types will be explained with the aid of diagrams. Increase in the quantity demanded. Having explained that change in quantity demanded implies a situation where the price of the commodity is the one influencing quantity demanded, while other factors are constant. Increase in quantity demanded. From the diagram before us, we will see that these are price axes, these are quantity axes, and then we have demand curve here. Now, from the price axis, we can see 20 naira, showing the quantity demanded to be 50. We can see 10 naira, showing quantity demanded to be 65. The arrow here indicates a decrease, while the arrow here indicates an increase. The arrow here is telling us that is what? There is a downward movement along demand curve, because this is demand curve. So from the diagram, you observe that there is an increase in quantity demanded as a result of what? as a result of a fall in price from 20 naira to 10 naira. As the price decreases from 20 to 10 naira, quantity demanded increases from 50 to 65. Demand curve indicates a downward sloping. So therefore, there is an increase in quantity demanded as a result of a decrease in price, while other factors affecting demand are not interested here. That is, they are constant. To summarize, increase in quantity demanded indicates that there is a decrease in price leading to increase in quantity demanded, while other factors affecting demand are constant. Number 2, decrease in the quantity demanded. In decrease in quantity demanded, it implies that there is a change in price which affects quantity demanded. See, the change in price happens to be an increase in price leading to a decrease in quantity demanded. From the diagram above, this is price axis, this is quantity axis. And we can see our price moving from 10 naira to 20 naira. But coming to the quantity axis, we observe that quantity demanded decreases from 65 to 50. And the demand curve happens to be upward sloping. This indicates that whenever we have a decrease in quantity demanded, there will be upward movement along the demand curve, as we can see from this. While the arrow indicates increase in price, and the arrow on the quantity axis indicates decrease in demand. So to summarize this, decrease in quantity demanded indicates that an increase in price leading to decrease in quantity demanded, where other factors affecting demand are constant. Change in demand. This is a situation where the price of the commodity is constant while other factors affecting are in operation, influencing demand of the commodity. In change in demand, we try to understand that the price of the commodity is constant, but other factors affecting demand are the one influencing demand. Take for instance, we can see an increase in demand when the price is still constant, maybe as a result of decrease in taxation, maybe as a result of increase in population, maybe as a result of effective advertisement. All these can increase demand when the price of the commodity is still constant. But at times, these factors that we mentioned too can also cause a decrease in demand when the price of the commodity is still constant in the market. Take for instance, foodstuff, and to be precise, gari. Maybe a tin of gari roughly is 500 naira. But if there's a decrease in income of the consumer, maybe from 50,000 to 35,000, the price of gari will not be affected, but the demand of gari will be affected. So that's why it's called what? Change in demand. That is, price of the commodity is constant while other factors affecting demand are in operation. It is into two types, namely increase in demand and decrease in demand. Number 1, increase in demand. From the diagram before us, the price axis shows 15 naira. The quantity axis shows 55 quantity, later 95 quantity. And we have our demand curve to be downward sloping DD, under downward sloping D1. You observe that the price is constant here, 15 naira, but there is a change in demand from 75 to 95. The implication is that demand changes while the price is constant, but the changes that we have happen to be increase in demand. That is, Demand increasing from 75 to 95 when the price is still 15 naira. We call it increase in demand. As the arrow indicates, from here to here, indicate that downward sloping DD shift to the right. So downward sloping D1, D1. So anytime we have increase in demand, we are going to have the demand curve to shift from the left to the right, which indicates increase. And the price axis, the price will be there, being fixed, but the quantity axis will have a change, as the arrow indicates from the left to the right. So to summarize increase in demand, it implies that a constant price and an increase in demand, whereby factors affecting demand are the one operating. Maybe increase in income of the consumer motivate them to buy more quantity of a particular commodity. Maybe the population in the community or society has increased, so the demand can increase from 75 to 95. Maybe the firm is able to have effective advertisement, so the demand can change from 75 to 95, while the price of the commodity in question is constant. Number 2, decrease in demand. Decrease in demand implies that there is a constant price, but a fall in demand as a result of factors like income of the consumer being decreased, population size being reduced, advertisement, that is, no effective advertisement, fashion and taste can reduce. All these can cause decrease in demand, while the price of the commodity is still constant. So if we can have this, the implication is that the price of the commodity is constant, but a factor or factors are affecting decrease in demand of such commodity. Let's explain with the head of diagram before us. From the price axis, we have 15 naira. From the quantity axis, we have 95 quantity moving down to 75. That is, there is a change in demand, a fall in demand to be precise. And looking at demand curve, we have D, that is demand downward sloping D, and demand curve again D1, D1. The implication is that demand curve shifts from the right to the left, and whenever demand curve shifts from the right to the left, it indicates a fall in demand, while the price is constant. So the diagram before us is telling us that when the price is 15 naira, that is, price of a commodity is 15 naira, there is a change in demand, that is, a fall in demand from 95 to 75. Maybe as a result of what we have mentioned earlier on, but the price is still constant. Therefore, change in demand implies that a constant price or a constant price of the commodity, while other factors affecting demand are the one in operation, influencing demand of such commodity in question. Examples. Question 1. In a normal demand schedule, the quantity demanded is A, directly related to price, B, inversely related to price, C, independent of price, D, proportionally related to supply. The right answer is B, inversely related to price. A cannot be, because we have said the lower the price, the higher the quantity demanded. So it's not inverse. That one is talking about negative, inverse. C, independent of price. It's not talking about, it's not right. Because demand is a function of price. So demand depends on price. Then D, proportionally related to supply. We're talking about demand here, but not supply. So the right answer is B, inversely related to price. Question 2. A movement along a given demand curve for a good is caused by a change in A. Consumer income, B. The price of the good, C. Taste, D. The prices of other goods. The right answer is B. The price of the good. When we're talking about movement along the Markov, we are looking at the relationship between quantity demanded and its price. So here, consumer income cannot be on that area. This, we can have it along the Markov. We can have taste along the Markov. We can have price on that. So it is the price of the commodity and quantity demanded that is talking about movement along demand curve. So the remaining three options will be based on change in demand, not change in quantity demanded. The right answer is B. Question 3. Two goods, X and Y, are said to be complementary when A. A fall in the price of X raises the demand for Y. B. A fall in the price of X causes a fall in the demand of Y. C. A fall in the price of X does not affect the demand for Y. D. The two goods are competitive. The right answer is A. A fall in the price of X raises the demand for Y. Option B cannot go because complementary good. A fall in price of one will bring about increase in the demand for the other one. So this one is not related to complementary goods. Then C, a fall in the price of X does not affect the demand for Y. It's not right. Then D, the two goods are complementary. So in the question we are talking about complementary, not competitive. So the right answer now is A. A fall in the price of X raises the demand for Y.